the hairstyles you're wearing are causing your alopecia. So
I am back. What it do, baby?
Putting all that stuff on the hair is just so unnecessary, y'all. Like, you can have very, very easy and simplistic hair practices with no more than 6 products, if even that. That's if you being extra, 6, but no more than 6, y'all, and that's including shampoo and conditioner and deep conditioner. So I really hope that this video makes sense.
if you're new to my channel, hi, hello, how are you? I am CynDoll. I'm a licensed cosmetologist, herbalist, a trichologist, a research scientist, and the owner of Simple Apothecary LLC. Today, we're going to do a flashback in the vault. This video is about 7 years old, and let's break it down, all right? First, we're going to do a hairstyle, and I think that most women are dealing with balding and breakage because most of you are under the impression that every day of your life your hair is to be in a hairstyle, and that is wrong. I'm going to show you that the style that I'm about to do right now is the easiest way to stop length retention if these are your go-to styles. Hairstyles like this are situational. It's for an event. It's only supposed to be left in for about a week and shampooed out. Now, the one that I left in the description box below, again, that was like some spur of the moment type stuff. She was a client, but more like a friend, and I worked with what I had with me because we didn't plan for that. Whereas this client was something completely different, which we'll talk about in a second. But the first thing I'm going to do is color her hair. This is some hair color that is going to give her like this red hue because that was like her color. That was her thing. As you can see, the color had faded. She wasn't a client that necessarily came every 2 weeks, but I saw her at least once a month, So right now, what you've been looking at on the screen is the 4 different layers of the human hair shaft. And right now, I'm not pulling any of her pigment out. So I'm not really going inside of her disulfide bond and moving anything around. We're just depositing color. This color is deposit really only, even though there is a mild lifting property with the 40 volume developer, and my percentage of Olaplex that I used was very, very specific to make sure that we didn't get any damage. Now, I love Joico Lumishine when I was standing behind the chair because of their formulation, right? Their formulation, you'll see the hair looks so beautiful when the color is done, and the shine and the health of the hair because of the complexes that are within the formulation of Lumishine are like out of this world. This is something that I'll be talking about when I do my new course that's just for professional cosmetologists. But to be honest, y'all, there is no way I could walk you through the science of this color process right now in this video. It's just not gonna happen, right? So anywho, as I'm putting this color on her hair, I want you to pay attention to how important combs and brushes are, right? For over a decade, combs and brushes have been shamed. You guys really believe that combs and brushes are the devil. This makes it extremely difficult, right? It makes it extremely difficult to do a job properly when you're not able to separate every strand. I always tell you the average human being has anywhere between 1 to 4 strands protruding out of each pore, right? Coming out of each follicle and pore. So when you do the math, every human being has approximately 100,000 to 400,000 strands of hair on their head. So right now I'm coloring each strand. I need each strand to be colored individually. So before the color is on, the hair needs to be properly detangled. As I'm coloring the hair, right before I place the color on, I'm combing the hair again to make sure that every strand is evenly separated. And then once I put the color on, I'm working the color in with my hands, right, into the hair shaft, not the scalp, but I'm making sure that I smooth the color in to the cuticle so it actually gets past the cuticle layer into the cortex and able to deposit the amount of pigment that I need, right? So again, when we're doing something as vibrant as like a red deposit only color, is not going to last like and be as vibrant all the time, because red does fade really fast, right? So for this reason, I would have my clients use certain shampoos and conditioners to make sure that the red doesn't fade as much. I'll add some of those shampoos that I recommend for my redheads linked below in the description box, or they'll be under this video. But as this comment on the screen says, one of the main reasons that I do talking head videos and things of that nature is because I want you guys to learn the science of the human body the way that I learned it. The very first clip that you guys just saw of my hair, that is how my hair looks when it gets really, really oily and I put a couple of clip-ins in, right? So over the years, everyone has been so preoccupied with my hair. I've been saying the same thing over and over and over and over, but because my own hair, I wasn't showing all my hair and my hair down my back, it was like, oh, I can't listen to her, and it drives me insane that I had to come on here and show y'all, oh look, it's a strawberry, look at where my hair is. And now the majority of people are like, oh yeah, now we'll listen to Cyn, or let me see what she's talking about. And it's low-key like heartbreaking, because I really truly wanted everybody to learn just from their own intellect, not from a follow the leader mentality or a follow the leader standpoint. Because when I was standing behind the chair, I was wearing my hair short on a purpose. Yes, I could have still grown my hair out even with my HS outbreaks when I was doing hair, but I did not have time for that. Like, I barely had time to eat when I was at work, so I kept my hair in a short pixie cut. And when I would stand behind the chair and when I would give people the same science that I'm giving right now, you know, women would reject it because they're like, oh well, how come your hair isn't real long? Because you were a short pixie cut. And what people don't understand, if you wear a short pixie cut, you're getting a haircut every week. So my hair grows really fast. Nobody knows how fast hair grows more than somebody with a short pixie cut, right? Moreover, let's take men for an example. Men are getting a haircut once a week, sometimes more than that, because their hair grows that fast. And men don't need to get a haircut because they use the oils and greases and butters and it's making their hair grow so fast. No, they're getting in the shower. When my husband gets in the shower, we've been together for 15 years. When we first got together, and it didn't have nothing to do with me doing hair, when we first got together and he was having 360s and stuff, he was washing his hair every day in the shower. And when he got out, all he would do is brush it. That was it. He wasn't finger coiling, finger detangling, nothing. And he had to cut his hair sometimes twice a week because his hair grows that fast. So I need you to understand that as a woman, there's no difference. But when all of our hairstyles are constructed by adding loads and loads and loads of oils and butters and greases and all of these different products, then what ends up happening is you end up blocking the follicle. And when you block the follicle, and when you put layers and layers of product on top of the hair shaft, and what's crazy to me is that women argue about that. Like, if you put the same Blue Magic on your face, right, the same amount of Blue Magic you just greased your scalp with, put that on your face and then go to sleep, and I can bet money that when you wake up in the morning, you're gonna have whiteheads all over your face. Well, my next thing that I want you to do is look in the mirror, and I want you to tell me what's the difference between the skin on your face and the skin on your scalp. There's no difference. The only difference is there's hair there. There's another comment, somebody was like, oh, they use this certain type of product on their scalp, and it's like, oh, I use it for my skin, the skin on my face, why can't I use it for my scalp? Oh my god, girl, do you have the same type of hair on your face as you do on your scalp? I didn't think so. If you did, girl, that's a hairy ass face. But is the hair on your scalp, does your hair on your face, does your hair on your face get just as long and just as thick as your hair on your scalp? No? Oh, I didn't think so. So that means that we can't use the same products that we use for our face that's absent of hair for the scalp that has hair on it, because the result that you're going to get on the skin and the hair are two completely different things, because what you're then going to do is weaken the hair that lives within the follicle that is under that first layer of skin on the scalp. So when you're putting products that don't go on the hair on the scalp, the follicle holds the hair. So that product goes within the scalp and it gets on the hair shaft that still lives within the follicle and begins to deteriorate it and break it down. And then your hair will slowly start shedding and thinning. And after 6 months to a year, you're like, oh my God, my hair was so thick last year. What happened? You've been using products for your face, for your scalp. That's what happened. You've been using products that are supposed to be used for recipes for food, and you've been making smoothies out of them and putting them on your scalp. Now, when we are having these conversations, right? We're just having a conversation. You can do whatever it is that you want to do. What I want you to do is pay attention to the people who told you to do it. If I say this, like for example, there are videos across social media that say not to listen to me and that I'm wrong, and it doesn't matter how many videos you've seen like that, I'm never going to change what I have to say, nor will I sit and address any of them by name one by one. I'm not going to do any of that. Why would I do that? The reason that I'm not doing it is because I know that you have a brain, and I know that you can look at both versions of information, and you can go get a mannequin and try both. You can get 2 mannequins and call one mannequin CynDoll and call the other mannequin whatever other person, right? And then try both methods. And then at the end of a 3-month period, you let me know which mannequin's hair looks better, which mannequin feels better. And every time across the board, my way wins, because my way is sticking with the science of the human body. It's very simple. It's very simplistic. Your way tells you that you have to detangle your hair for, the whole shampooing process itself takes some of you 2-3 hours, and it's ridiculous. It's something crazy on her video the other day. When you're shampooing your hair yourself, it shouldn't take any longer than 10-15 minutes. When you're in a salon, right, when you come see me, your shampoo is going to be about 30 minutes. Because I'm a professional and I'm detoxing your scalp, I'm detoxing your hair shaft, I'm removing layers of dead skin. There are a lot of different things that I'm doing, so it's going to take me a little longer. But you, ma'am, you shouldn't be in the shower shampooing no longer than 10-15 minutes, and that's from the hair being wet to you getting out the shower with the conditioner completely off your head. Most of y'all shampooing for 15 minutes. It's crazy. So these are the things that y'all have to think about, right? But at this point, I am now starting to mold her ponytail. Some people would just do it in a blown out state. No, if you're trying to get hair sleek and smooth, it needs to be sleek and smooth before you style it, right? When I say that there's a difference between a hairstylist and a cosmetologist, this is what I mean. Because right now, this point is hairstyling, and none of really cosmetology is going into this portion. I'm styling hair. So what I'm doing now is using beeswax and Pump It Up. Beeswax and Pump It Up have been my 2 stylers forever. Am I saying that that's the only way that you could do a sculptural ponytail? Absolutely not. That's not what I'm saying. But it's my way. It's my favorite way. Sometimes if you don't have Pump It Up, there are other things you can use. You can use any type of hairspray, honestly. Like in the video that I did yesterday, I'll leave the link in the comments But in that one I use Got to Be. But I want y'all to pay attention that I'm using the product to smooth her hair and nothing else. Even in looking at it, especially using it this way, with using Pump It Up, I have to use way less product. I have to use a little bit more beeswax in the last video because I didn't have my Pump It Up, but it just makes it a little easier. But even looking at this, let's be realistic. If y'all really look the whole time, just take screenshots through this video every time you see me add beeswax. The amount of beeswax that I've added to her hair to sculpt her ponytail is not even half of the amount that y'all use or that y'all are letting these braiders put on your scalp. And these are the things that I want y'all to think about, right? Doing things that make sense. Hair care is not that complicated, mind you. At this point, she doesn't have any oil sheen, any shine spray, nothing on her hair. The only thing that's on her hair is the leave-in conditioner that I put in when I blow dried it, right before I blow dried it, the heat protectant that I sprayed as I was flat ironing her. She got a trim, and now there's beeswax and Pump It Up, but I haven't added any oil or anything yet. So when you guys look at people's hair and you see it's shiny, that doesn't mean that it's a bunch of oil in it. Even oil sheen. Back in the day when you went to the hair salon, the cosmetologist or the hairstylist would spray oil sheen on your hair and then you would leave out. And then because in the salon hairstylists were all spraying oil sheen on the hair, all y'all was like, oh, I'm gonna buy some, I'm gonna take some home with me and I'm gonna spray the oil sheen on my hair too. Well, that's where a lot of y'all messed up too. In real life, like oil sheen is something of the past that we used until we figured out something better. But yet and still, in the hair salon, professional cosmetologists from back in the day knew how to use the proper amount of oil sheen to the point where it wasn't going to really block the follicles or make the hair heavy. But when you go home and do it, you overuse everything. Don't take offense. Don't take offense. We're having a conversation. And I'm telling you, if you are easily offended, I do not understand why you're on my channel. I'm not going to change. I'm not. Some people leave comments. I'm not going to put those on the screen because it irritates me sometimes. Like to put it up there and then have to read it and watch it back and all that. But they're like, oh my God, you should take some speech classes to learn how to talk to people. You sound so mean. My channel not for soft women. It's just not. If you're easily offended, this isn't going to be the channel for you. I'm not messing words, okay? So now at this point, we're still smoothing this ponytail down. Yes, I am using rubber bands, which is another reason why this is not a style that you should have every day of your life. It is not. I don't recommend anyone to wear ponytails every day. A ponytail is a placeholder. Like when my hair is in a ponytail, it's because maybe I planned on doing my hair. I already shampooed it, but then Flo came in town and I don't really feel good. So I'm putting my hair in a ponytail and then lay down. And then when I get some energy, then later on that day or in the morning, then I'll take the ponytail out and I'll do my hair. Or if I don't have time and I need to run to the store real quick, before I do my hair, I'm put my hair in a ponytail real quick, maybe put a hat on, and then I'm gonna go do what I'm gonna do, and then I'm gonna come back. But see, the problem and the reason why most of your hairstyles lead to alopecia is because the styles that you should only have for a couple of days or for a week, because you pay money for it, you're gonna wear it until the wheels fall off of it. So you'll wear different hairstyles for 3 months or for a month or 3 weeks, and this is not a hairstyle that you should have in your head for 3 weeks. It's not. But if you want to do it, you can. Will it last? Yeah, but you'll be tying this up on a regular basis, right? Most likely you're gonna make the scarf super tight so that way it'll stay really, really flat. Okay, but most people don't take those things into consideration when we're talking about your hair thinning and things of that nature, right? Like most people, you're gonna wrap your hair up like this every night, but with a tight scarf. I'm doing it with neck strips right now, but most people, you're gonna wrap your hair like this every single night. And let's say that you're not even getting a ponytail like this. Just probably put your real hair in a ponytail every day. It is the fastest way to have breakage. That cone shaped breakage that you see, you guys probably saw it for the first time on my channel because I pointed it out. But if you go on any channel, right, that's like mine, where there are professional cosmetologists fixing people who are leaving Team Natural, then you're going to see the same exact cone shaped breakage because everybody's doing the same damaging practices to the hair, so you're getting the same breakage. But then there's another group of women that have the same healthy patterns and they're not having breakage and they're able to retain length. So at that point, you have to ask yourself, what category do I want to fit into? What group am I putting myself in, right? So even the way that I'm doing her ponytail, her hair is completely protected with neck strips. So none of this glue is touching her hair, none of it whatsoever. But her hair is still wrapped and covered in about about 2 bundles in this ponytail. About 2 bundles or like a bundle and a half wrapped around this ponytail. So this isn't something that you want to keep on your hair for 3 weeks, and it's definitely not something you want to take out and put back in, and then take out and put back in, and take out and put back in. And people think that things like this, it's like, oh well, my hair's long or it grew, and that's the problem. Most people are not paying attention because of the length, and that's why most black women end up losing edges, because you are so focused on length that you're not even paying attention to how your edges are thinning out gradually. Because unless somebody yanks them out your head, or unless it's a chemical, nobody's balding just like one day they have a full head of hair and then they wake up the next day and all of it's gone, unless something drastic happens, right? The majority of you are thinning slowly, like over months, over years. Your hair is thinning little by little, just like a bunch of the YouTubers that y'all been watching. Hair weathering is setting in for a lot of these women. So just keep watching with your popcorn. Just keep watching. Go back in their older videos, look how their hair used to look, and then look at it now. And then this time, about 3 years from now, they're either going to do a big chop, or you're going to notice they're going to have alopecia, different forms of alopecia that they're going to be blaming on genetics, or they're just going to be in denial. But all of those things are happening right now, as we speak right now. But it is because most black women, and I'm saying this because I'm a black woman, I'm talking to my people. If you're sensitive, get off of my channel, okay? I'm talking to my people that are ready to receive. When you're doing a hairstyle like this repeatedly, like over and over and over again, that tension is on the hair's follicle. And not only is the tension on the hair's follicle, your hair and your scalp is covered with heavy polymers. It doesn't matter how much I avoid applying product directly to the scalp to mold your hair, the products are going to touch your scalp. That's why a professional hairstylist knows, if they paid attention in school or if they went to a good school, they know the proper routines and patterns to layer products properly, so that way they won't clog the pores, that way they won't clog the follicles and things of that nature. But when you see people just spraying stuff on the scalp, when you see all of these other things, these are the things that mess y'all up. And when I say certain things, if you're watching my video and you've done the things that I'm talking about, you're naturally going to be like, oh, Cian's talking about me. I do not indirectly talk any mess about anybody. If I have something to say about you, I'm going to say it. I may not say a name directly, but if I'm talking about like a bald head person with seashells in a beard. You know exactly who I'm talking about. I don't make indirect comments. And the only reason that I won't say that straightforward is because I have a husband and a father, and they taught me a long time ago, I don't argue with boys. So I will never do anything like that. But as it pertains to when I'm just talking, please stop taking offense to everything that I'm saying. If the shoe fits, damn, you may have, but I'm not directly speaking to anybody. But I've seen some pretty dusty videos where you'll see a woman who, like, let's say you get a weave and your hair is like, their hair is really really thin, so then you spray like a root concealer or something on the roots to make it darker. You spray a pigment on the root or a filler, you put fillers on the scalp to cover it up. But what y'all don't understand, those fibers that you're putting on your scalp to cover up the bald spot is actually expanding your bald spot. Those are things that I want you to think about. The filler, the little filler that you're putting on that's gonna fill in that bald spot, it's like black, and you shake it, the fibers, they're expanding your bald spot. They're making your alopecia worse. They're not helping. And I know it's cool for a vanity metric, but it's not helping. Because if you use something like that, you need to shampoo that shit off that night. But you're not. You use it every day, and if it wears off, you add more, and that could be through a week. And then you're gonna add that filler to the scalp every day, and then at the end of the week you'll wash it off. But by the end of the week, it's too late to shampoo it off. The damage is already done, and you need to do a lot more than shampoo. And then you'll begin to notice that bald spots gets bigger and bigger and bigger. The more fibers you use, the more root filler spray you use. The tinted black spray that you see people spraying on scalps to hide bald spots, that's gonna make the bald spot bigger. It will. And I love y'all so much, but it's the truth. And I think that the worst part of the education of black women right now when it comes to the hair is the only people who are allowed to educate you are the people that make you feel good. But the truth of the matter is, none of the things that the people who are educating you are saying is gonna make you feel good, because the things that make y'all feel the best are the things that are making you bald. It's the truth. Now, her ponytail came out cute, but this is not something that she did on a regular basis at all. She had an event she was going to. She was taking pictures. She needs to be cute, but that was it. There are other videos of her on my channel, so if you want to see, well, they're unlisted, but if you want me to post another video of her hair, I have like 3 or 4 other videos of her that I'll combine together into one video. So if you want to see those, let me know, and I'll have one of those coming up. But this beauty here, right, is one of my old regular schmegulas. That's not true. Because I haven't seen her face yet. That was another clip. She wasn't a regular. This was I think this was her first time coming to me. I'm pretty sure this was her first time coming to me. Anyway, so she doesn't have heat damage or anything like that. Okay, this is not heat damage. Okay, it's not heat damage. But she has had a few of the team natural practices. Now, when I say team natural practices, I am putting everything under one umbrella. So you leaving your hair wet, you letting your hair air dry, you sleeping in conditioner, you sleeping in products, or you layering a whole bunch of products on your scalp. YouTube University, that's what I'm gonna call it. YouTube University graduates, people like that, right? So like I said, great person, but most of her patterns and routines, just like yours, have caused her to not be able to retain a healthy length. See, the issue with us, my sisters, my brothers, is not the simple fact that black hair won't grow. It's that black people do the most extravagant hairstyles on their hair, not understanding that every day that cute ass hairstyle is in your head, every day that those crochet braids are in your hair, every day that wig is on tight, all of these different things, you are rubbing out your edges and you're making your hair shaft weaker and the follicle weaker, and you're inducing stress to the follicle that is going to result in shedding. That's just what it is. And if you're wearing ponytails all the time, you're causing breakage, but you're causing little minor snaps. Just minor snaps. Most of you take your hair out of a ponytail, you'll see a couple of little strands of hair on the ponytail holder. You don't think anything of it. You're like, oh, this is normal shedding. It's not. So with you doing that every day, day in and day out, you're slowly breaking off hair. And then after a while, you're going to have very sparse ends. And this is where it would be not hard for me at work, but I can be honest and say annoying, because again, women, not the one in my chair, she was great, but most women would sit down in the chair and they're like, oh, my hair is so long, because you've been in Team Natural and you believe that the way that your hair looks curly is how your hair really is, and it's not. How your hair looks from curly to straight are two completely different heads of hair. It's two completely different heads of hair. The majority of women hair looks really healthy when it's curly and wet, because when your hair is curly, it's swollen. But then when you see it straight, that's when you see the reality of your hair. And I think that's the portion that most black women are not seeing. That's how they're playing y'all in y'all face, because they're like, no, I'm never using a comb, I'm never using a brush, I'm never using a blow dryer, I'm never using a flat iron. What they're really saying is, I'm never gonna show the true integrity of my hair, because if you really see it, you're gonna see how effed up my hair is. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it, because the majority of women on the planet have curly hair. Like when people are like, oh, Dominican salon, the majority of Latina women have curly hair. The majority of the women on the planet have curly hair. There's one chick on YouTube that I love. Her name Sunny Leonarduzzi. She is a white woman and her hair is very curly, like Mufasa. And she's not black or mixed, and she does not have a perm. That's her hair. Black women are not the only women with curly hair, but we do the most extravagant styles that make it hard for us to retain length, because as our hair grows, it breaks off because of the different styling practices that we have. So instead of us holding on to those couple of inches that we grow every month, you end up cutting them all off at the end of a 10-week period, because they're all broken. Your hair never has the ability to have the same density from your roots to your ends because of your patterns, your routines, and your practices, right? So I know I talk about these things a lot. In a couple of days, we're going to be moving on back into herbs, but it's literally like I can't just jump into that without getting past the basics. It's almost like, taking somebody straight into calculus and you've never even learned addition, multiplication, subtraction, long division. You've never learned any of those things. I'm just taking you straight to calculus. No, you're going to be confused. I'm going to be answering a whole bunch of questions that I don't really want to answer because I've skipped steps. So I can't do that. I love y'all. If you want to get past all of this and you want to get right to the how-to and the what-to-dos, then all of those things are on my private platforms like the website, right? So if you need something else for free, then that's when you would join the CynDoll network. That's free, link in the description box. But if you need some hands-on direction on how to change your 7-day pattern, 7-day hair growth challenge, but if you want me to break it down like all the way downtown, then that's going to be the growth cycle blueprint. And on the growth cycle blueprint, when they make requests, most of the time we don't have too many requests within the group of the growth cycle blueprint because there's already so much information in there. But if there's anything like, oh, how exactly do we trim our own hair and things of that nature, that's where those instructional videos are over only within the growth cycle blueprint, because my whole challenge, both of my challenges, and actually everything on my website is copyright. So if anybody steals anything from my website, if I hear anybody repeating me or quoting me from my website, oh, my lawyers on your ass, right? So that's the reason that I make that separation. But I really, really want you guys to get into the basics, and you don't need to pay for anything to learn the basics. But what you do have to do is let go of all of the made up stuff, because this is not the minority. The majority of black women's hair looks like this when you straighten it. And do you see that she has that same triangular shape of breakage? Is no coincidence. None of my clients know each other. None of my clients have ever met. And across the city and the world, all of the women that you see on social media that have this same type of breakage, none of them know each other, but they're all following the same YouTubers. They're all following the same hacks. Y'all are all doing the same techniques and patterns because that girl has long curly hair that you've never seen stretched out. These are the things that I really want you guys to understand. Now, on the camera, even though it would seem like the camera picks up everything, it doesn't. So there were a lot of different spaces at the bottom. I remember in the comments of this video, people were like, oh my god, you cut too much hair. Girl, shut up. No, I didn't. When you are there in person, you can see the longest hair that she has is like on the top of her head. So at the very, very bottom, it was a bunch of different like holes and splits. So she was like, get rid of all of it. Like, I don't want to hold on to anything. So we took all of it off, right? Those were the clients that I love the most. Yes, I had favorites, and these were my favorites because they made my job easier. It made my job so much easier because now at this point we can work on retaining length. Now imagine this. Imagine if all of her patterns and routines were right. Imagine if she was coming in for a trim every 8 to 10 weeks. Imagine if none of those ends that I just cut off were broken. And she did that on a regular basis. Her hair would be past bra strap length. What are we talking about? Why are we still under this brainwash believing that black women can't grow long hair? Black women can grow long hair. Black women can't retain length because of their routines, patterns, and practices, or the lack thereof. Because even most of your team natural girls, and if you one of those, if the shoes fit and sis, put it on. Most of you are only team natural a couple of days a week, and the rest of the week you have a wig on. And I'm saying this because women would come in my shop and they would come sit in my chair and they would have a wig on. They would take the wig off, and under the wig they would be under a plastic cap with conditioner in it that's been mixed with oil. So you love Megs. When I made that video, nobody was trying to attack her, but the video that she put out that has millions of views, women have been following that shit for years. I can't even count on when I'm out of fingers and toes counting how many women came and sat in my chair with conditioner that they had mixed with oil under a cap. I can't even tell you how many. Mind you, that video that went super viral with her was only like she made that like before I even stopped doing hair, but there were videos she made just like it prior to, and not just her. All of y'all favorite Team Natural people, they're telling you to mix stuff with your conditioner, sleep in the conditioner. It's women right now who are in the Team Natural community whose hair is thinning right now, but they're still telling people, yeah, I slept in my conditioner last night and woke up this morning. Whatever y'all end up, whatever situation you end up with in your hair is on you, because none of these people that make these videos on YouTube are at fault. You are, because you don't have to follow them. You don't have to listen to what they say. You can learn the science of the human body and do your hair or deal with your body accordingly. These are things that I want you to understand. Okay, when cosmetologists are wanting you to get a trim, it's not because we're scissor happy. It's because we understand that if you don't get a little itty bitty centimeter trimmed off every 8 to 10 weeks, by the end of the year, I'm gonna have to cut off 5-6 inches of hair. I just cut off a lot of her hair, and none of it had to go. So by most of you guys like avoiding a trim every 8 to 10 weeks, you end up cutting all of your hair off. Black women don't retain length because they don't have proper maintenance practices. Like, there's a new thing that I saw. There's a chick, she's sewing in clip-ins. That don't even make sense. You're sewing in clip-ins? They already clipped in. Why would you sew them in? Or women who are only washing their hair every 3 months and leaving weaves in for 6 months. I've seen people who just started doing microfusions, women who do not have cosmetology licenses, telling you, hey, keep micro links in. You can keep micro links in for 6 months. Oh my fucking God, y'all. Everybody's gonna go bald. Y'all cannot keep jumping on these new fads. Microlinks should not be in your head for 6 months. What the hell is wrong with y'all? Like, y'all, we have to get to a place where we are able to have consultations. We are able to have honest conversations, and cosmetologists, hairstylists, or people who like to play in hair and record it, I need y'all to really care about people's hair. Stop playing in hair. Just because somebody just taught you how to do something doesn't mean that the next day you should offer it as a service. Master something for a couple of years before you start offering it as a service, y'all. But you know, that's neither here nor there. I digress. This is how her hair ended up coming out. So again, I want all of us to go back to the drawing board and realize that most of the hairstyles that we're doing on a regular basis are the things that's leading to the weakness of your follicle, that's leading to the brittleness and your hair shaft being so brittle and prone to breakage. Most people are like, my ends are so dry, what products do I put? Your ends are not dry, they're broken. They're broken, and you need to trim them off, or they're going to keep splitting up the hair shaft. And the more they split up the hair shaft, they then begin to split within the follicle, and then you start thinning and balding, and before you know it, you have alopecia. Alopecia first starts with the trigger that leads to inflammation, and then the end result is alopecia. But you don't have to be there. You don't. There are so many other things that you can do, and hair care is actually one of the most simplistic things you can do. Change your patterns and your routines, and instead of shampooing your hair for 3 to 4 hours, do it for 10 to 15 minutes and watch everything about your hair change. I'm telling you what I know. The gurus already know what it is. If you believe me, you believe me. If you don't, you don't. That's your loss, my baby, not mine or the gurus. I hope that you decide to change your routines and patterns and open up your mind and lose the offense. But if you don't, that's on you. Let's talk in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video, and until our next one, bye.